Hey guys, it's Eastside here, back with 5 more DLC raid builds. In my last video, I highlighted builds for Snorlax, Sinistcha, Alola Ninetales, Dipplin, and Gliscor, so if you're interested in any of those Pokemon, check out that video. But today we'll be highlighting 5 more DLC raid builds that you can use to farm those herba mysticas to make all those shiny sandwiches. This video will highlight great solo builds and great supporters that you can use in online play. And all these builds are a great template for you to build from. Change any of these builds as you may see fit. With that said, let's not waste any time and jump right into the builds. Number 5. Clefairy. Everyone rejoice. We no longer have to rely on Vivillon or Jigglypuff for friend guard support because the true queen of friend guard is now available to us with the release of the DLC. Clefairy isn't the best attacker, but that's okay because we want to use it as a support. And no hyperbole here, Clefairy with friend guard is the best damage mitigating support in Scarlet and Violet. It's viable in almost every 5 or 6 star raid. Just don't bring it to fight poison or steel type Teras. So the biggest value of Clefairy is its friend guard ability, which lowers the damage your teammates take by 25%, allowing your teammates to live more hits. And you can take this one step further with reflect or light screen support. And against a physical attacker, you can even use chilling water to lower the target's physical attack even more. But Clefairy doesn't stop there. It can also act as a healer with Life Dew healing, healing you and your teammates up by 25% of their total HP. It has access to additional supporting moves such as Helping Hand for your damagers and Fake Tears to help your special attacking teammates deal even more damage. Clefairy is so good luck fitting only 4 moves on this build. To round out its build, you want to run the Eviolite item with max bulk, so you can make sure you can stay alive as long as possible to keep your friend guard ability active. You can run max HP and max physical defense or special defense. Both are viable. Just make sure you have the Eviolite item to double your defenses to increase your bulkiness. Number 4. Crawdaunt. Crawdaunt was one of the first tealmask Pokemon I had my eyes on because it has the absolutely broken ability, adaptability. I talk about all the synergy of adaptability and Tera gimmick in my Dragalge video here, so I'll spare you the details in this video. Long story short, it's busted. And the cool thing about Crawdaunt is we don't really have a good dark Tera Raider. You take advantage of adaptability and its dark typing with a strong stab dark move like Crunch and deal big damage. For nature and EVs, you want to be adamant nature with max HP, max attack, and the remaining in defense. For item, we want the Shell Bell for recovery, and for moves, we want Swords Dance to buff yourself, a water stab move like Liquidation, and a dark stab move like Crunch. And I really like Aqua Jet as my last move because Crawdaunt isn't the fastest Pokemon, so against a faster opponent, a priority Aqua Jet can allow you to hit first and get Shell Bell recovery, which may let you live a hit that you should have been KO'd by. The one downside of Crawdaunt is it's kind of frail, so sometimes you might not live long enough to get 3 Swords Dances off. But with the AI's defense cheer and solos, or with a supporting teammate like a Clefairy, you'd be surprised how bulky Crawdaunt can be. If you've been looking for a Dark Tera Raider, give Crawdaunt a chance. Number 3. Clefable. Somehow Clefairy gets even better with its evolution Clefable. Clefable isn't as good as supporting as Clefairy, but it's still a really strong all-rounder. I donate Pokemon as all-rounders if they can do everything. Damage, support, debuff, etc. And Clefable has all of those tools. Clefable's so versatile, you can run multiple different sets. First, let's look at this set, which is more damage focused. Clefable is a strong special attacking fairy type. Sure, Azumarill is a great fairy raider, but it's a physical attacker, not a special attacker like Clefable. So for this set, I have the Shell Bell for recovery. We have a recovery option in Draining Kiss, so you can run a different item that you seem fit, but even though Shell Bell is a tad basic, it gets the job done. For ability, I'm running Unaware. For anyone who used Skeledirge during hisuian decidueye, you know how good Unaware is. Clefable will ignore your opponent's stat changes. So if your opponent is +6 attack, Clefable will take damage as if it was neutral. However, this works the opposite way as well. If the enemy stats are lowered, Clefable ignores those stat changes as well. So Clefable has access to Fake Tears to lower the target's special defense, but you never want to run both Fake Tears and the Unaware ability on the same build, because nothing will happen. You could run Magic Guard instead if you really want to use Fake Tears. For nature and EVs, I like to run the Modest Nature with max HP and max special attack, with moves like Moonblast for our strong special Fairy Stab, Draining Kiss for recovery, Calm Mind to buff yourself, because with Unaware, you can still buff yourself. And the last move can be something like Helping Hand, Life Dew, Reflector, Light Screen. You could even run a full supportive set with max HP, max defense, or max special defense with more supporting moves, and Draining Kiss is your only offensive move. I still think if you were to run it full support, you might as well just use Eviolite, Friend Guard, Clefairy, and then run an offensive-oriented Clefable. Number 2, Milotic. Milotic is a Pokemon that just barely missed being in my previous video. And if my previous video was a top 6 DLC raid builds, I would have included it. So it definitely deserves number 2 on this list. Milotic is yet another Pokemon much like Clefable that can be ran offensively or supportively. It has 2 really good abilities in competitive and Marvel scale. Competitive can boost your special attack by 2 stages every time you get a stat drop, much like Annihilape's Defiant ability if you're familiar with that. So it's good on offensive builds. And the Marvel scale ability can increase your physical defense by 50% when you're statused. So that's why I recommend combining the Marvel scale ability with the Flame Orb. The Flame Orb will burn yourself, and on a defensive, supportive Milotic, the burn helps you by increasing your defense, and the burn won't cut your special attack, and it prevents you from getting slept or paralyzed or anything annoying like that. For the build on screen, I recommend the bold nature with max HP and max defense, but you could also run a modest nature with max HP and max special attack. It has good bulk, so you don't necessarily have to invest in full bulk, even with a defensive set. And for moves, I like Scald, which 1 out of 3 Scalds on average will burn the target, cutting their physical attack in half. Chilling Water with a weaker base power than Scald, but it does guarantee the target's attack stat will drop every time you use it. Life Dew to heal you and your teammates, and Helping Hand to help your damagers close out a raid. Milotic is another Pokemon that's just so versatile, you can run it in multiple different ways and be successful. Let me know which Milotic build you've been liking. Before we talk about our number 1 DLC raid build for this video, if you're enjoying the content, give me a like and subscribe. It really helps me out with my battle against the 7-star YouTube algorithm, and I greatly appreciate the Helping Hand buff. And lastly, number 1, Como. Como is an interesting one. It's a mixed attacker, so it can be ran special or physical attacker. For the build on screen, I've been having the most success with its physical set with a combination of Belly Drum and Screech. Como can solo better than other Belly Drummers like Iron Hands, Azumarill, and even Ursaluna, because it gets access to one of the best debuffing moves, Screech. Without relying on teammates, you can buff yourself to +6 with Belly Drum and debuff the target to -6 defense before recovering all your HP back with a Stab Drain Punch. For the rest of the set, I recommend a Citrus Berry so you can recover some HP back after belly drumming. I really like the Overcoat hidden ability because it blocks the effects of powder moves like Sinistcha's Stun Spores or Amoonguss's Spores. For nature and EVs, because this is a physical set, we want the Adamant nature with max HP and max attack, and we kind of already talked about its moves, but you want Belly Drum, Screech, Stab Drain Punch for recovery, and a Dragon Stab move because you might as well, you're Dragon Dual typed. Como has a really good move pool, but I think the physical set is the best. Because if you run a special set with Dragon Stab Clinging Scales, your defense will drop with every use, leaving you very vulnerable in raids. And it has an Omni boost with Clangorous Soul, but in my opinion, you might as well just Belly Drum if you're going to sacrifice your HP to buff your stats. But if you want to replace Dragon Claw for Clangorous Soul, that could also work on this build. So how'd I do? Those were 5 more of the best DLC raid builds. Were there any Pokemon you think I missed? Who do you want to see highlighted in my next video? Because spoiler alert, there will be more raid builds. If that's something you're interested in, hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified when my next raid build video goes live. See ya!